Woody Wommack joined by National Recruiting Director Mike Farrell to talk a little NFL draft. Mike, we saw a video come out late in the week of Tua Tagovailoa throwing at his pro day, and according to Trent Dilfer, he's got the best arm since David when he slung the rock at Goliath. What you had a chance to see the video. What did you think? What are your thoughts on Tua as the draft is drawing closer?
You know, it was another great pro day for a quarterback, but I'm trying to think of the last one that didn't go well for a quarterback. I mean, it's all routes on air. You know, it's pretty easy to complete passes. Yes, you have to show the arm strength to throw, deep outs and all of the things the NFL wants to see. And we know he has that arm strength, but, to say it's the best pro day in the last decade is a little bit much. And again, it's what we hear over and over again. As you can tell, listen, I want Tua to be successful because we had him ranked highly. We had him as a 6.04 star, top 50 player in the country, looked great for us. Whereas Justin Herbert was a guy who was an unknown and never, went anywhere at camps because he was from the middle of nowhere. But I've got Tua third and Herbert two, and this is based on future career. I think Tua's injury situation is scary as heck. There's been talk that there were more injuries that people didn't even know about. He can't go through the physical. He's moving well. He's got touch and accuracy and everything you look for there. And then there was the argument that he had too much talent around him and his receivers made him look good, and they certainly did. There's a lot of separation there, but Joe Burrow had great receivers as well. But when I look at Burrow and I look at Tua, there's no comparison to me as far as who's going to be more successful as a pro. And then Herbert is one of those guys who could be horrible or he could be solid. It reminds me a lot of Josh Allen with the Bills, and Josh Allen with the Bills is solid. But Tua, I think, man, you get hurt, and I don't care how many routes he completes on air and how great he looks, throwing the ball to wide open wide receivers. I'm still skeptical.
All right, so you got Tua third. The question about Herbert, I actually think he's better than Allen, at least, based on his career in college. Speaking of playing, he basically played with maybe one NFL receiver his entire 4 years there at Oregon. So it's not like he was throwing to great talent. He was also hot and cold. Both him and Tua, though, seem to be on like a mini media blitz here, almost like they're jockeying for that second position. Do you feel like, to me, the increased stuff with Tua has me wondering if they're a little bit nervous about, him potentially falling, and maybe that's why they're trying to push him to make sure he doesn't fall past the Dolphins there at 5.
I think there is some nervousness. There shouldn't be. We all know Tua is going to go second at quarterback. I mean, Burrow's going to go number 1. The Redskins are going to take Chase Young or trade out. And then whoever moves up to number 2, if they do trade out, will take Tua. That's just the way it's going to go. And again, I'm not the greatest expert in the world when it comes to quarterbacks. I mean, yeah, Deshaun Watson was the guy that I loved in that draft class. And when the Chiefs traded up for Mahomes, I thought they were making a mistake because I thought Watson was better. Watson's turned out to be pretty good, and Patrick Mahomes is, unfortunately for me, turned out to be the greatest quarterback to ever live. So, I'm not saying I'm right. I just don't see taking a risk like this in the top 5 on a guy who's been injured so often and, may or may not be a product of the talent around him. I mean, Najee Harris, is a better receiver than Justin Herbert ever had at Oregon. He's the running back,
Right.
So, but that doesn't mean I'm pounding the drum for Herbert either. In a perfect world, honestly, I think there would be one first-round quarterback. And that's Burrow. I don't think Jordan Love's a first-rounder either, but that's not the way the NFL works. Quarterback is the most important position ever. And, there's going to be 4 or 5 guys taken in the first round, and Tua will be the second one. But, yeah, there might be a sense of nervousness there. Herbert is more between the years, leadership and confidence and, rhythm and all that stuff. It's not physical skills, because if you look at the 2 of them, I mean, Herbert is just great looking kid who can make every throw and move around for a big kid. it's all between the ears. And Tua is an exceptional character kid with a lot of confidence. So I think that's where the NFL is leaning right now. But I don't know. I'm not big on this quarterback class.
All right, well, we'll keep following. We got only a couple more weeks until the draft is here. So follow Mike at Rivals Mike. He's got a lot of stuff.
Wait. Before you do the Rivals, Mike, what do you think?
Well,
You never liked Tua. Come on.
Okay.
Bring it.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't take Tua. I definitely wouldn't trade up. I could see the Dolphins taking him at 5 because they have another pick at 13 and they've been enamored with him. But if they trade up to get Tua, I think that has a chance to be a disaster. I mean, they basically admitted, or they basically tanked because they wanted Tua. It turned out Burrow ended up having a way better season and being the no-brainer number 1 pick. So if you trade up, you better get all the way to number 1 and take Burrow. If they trade up and take Tua, I'd be super nervous about that. I think they should stand pat and take him at 5 if they really like him, and call anybody else's bluff. Because if not, if someone else trades up and takes Tua, then Herbert falls into your lap, or perhaps Herbert could fall all the way to 13 at that second pick they have. So that's my take. Tua, let me tell you something. I'm real soured on Tua after chasing him all over Hawaii and him not doing an interview with me. So I'm the wrong guy to ask.
He's the nicest guy in the world, though. I mean, he really is a nice kid. And his family's nice, too. And that's why it's so surprising to hear the stories of him, his dad and all that stuff, because you just don't see any of that when you talk to them.
Well,
I don't.
You don't, but
maybe they're being nice to me, but I don't know. But yeah, this draft is going to be very interesting. We got to do more draft stuff too, because there's certain guys that aren't getting the exposure and attention they get, not just at the quarterback position, but guys that you and I love, like Derek Brown, and just aren't mentioned that often. But I will tell you, follow Rivals Mike. I'm entertaining. Follow Maurice Jones-Drew for the worst mock drafts and rankings in draft history. I think he has to be doing it on purpose, right?
Yeah, I tweeted about it. I think he's trolling people. I think
got to.
It's working. People are taking the bait.
I'm following him.
Right. So
Jonathan Taylor, number 6 at running back. He said Herbert was going to go number 1 at the Bengals. The guy's a genius. He's a genius.
All right. So anyway, follow Rivals Mike. Follow at Rivals Draft. And we'll have more coverage in the coming weeks as the NFL draft is right around the corner. Thanks, Mike.
All right.